Good evening. Yeah, it's good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Sorry, the show in the morning. What be their name? Church pastors. They flag the show. Hence the reason why the show was cut short. Church. I said a church pastor. Church children. They were flagging. I didn't even realize. I think some people mentioned it at the time that they were flagging, but I didn't pay attention. I wasn't paying attention. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hello, everybody. I'm greeting you as you are greeting me. Let's come and there are some. I don't know. I might probably do this as a two-in-one show. I don't know yet. Let me see. Let me see how things go. Um, you see, in Nigeria, when we say may Nigeria not happen to us, people don't understand what we are saying. When we say may Nigeria not happen to us, it's probably yeah. I will probably do it a 3-in-1 show, a 2-in-1 show. I think just to drive because there's points I want to drive home. I'm greeting you all as you are greeting me. Hey, good evening, Queen Esther. How are you, ma? How's everything? May Nigeria not happen to us. It's not a prayer, no be prayer. It is common sense. Nigeria should not happen to us. It's a thing of common sense. Hey, ẹlẹ́kọ̀ọ́rùn wọ́n flag mi bàgẹ́bàgẹ́. Nǹkan tí mo sọ fún wọn láàárọ̀ yìí, they no like am. Wọ́n flag show yẹn ní bàgẹ́bàgẹ́. Wọ́n kọ the whole land, when you hear they hold the show for hand. YouTube just release the video, not to release the video like after a while. May Nigeria not happen to us. I was watching. I was actually okay. I was doing something completely different, and then FYP. Hey, tell me how you dey. Funny enough, I think I did live stream. Okay, I think I did live stream yesterday. To be honest, during the week I've not had the time because I've been extremely busy at work, so I've not had the time to do a live stream. I think I did live stream yesterday and this morning. Then I think I did it on late yesterday. I think that one where I do for Jerry. Hey, Jerry members, if una see the way they come, I don't know why they fit come around me. I don't know why did they. You see, we want a better Nigeria, but we don't want to be asking questions. Why did they fit come around me? Ìkànnì show àná yẹn bá dé. Anyway, I don't tell you now wetin I see. Jerry I don't see na washadaya level. I know say make una no praise am. You know me, I don't do emotions. I know say make una no praise am. Na washadaya ló bá dé. Granty, tell me you are you carried away? Go and watch the show we did yesterday. Granty ranu wo nìyẹn. Granty washadaya wo nìyẹn. I don't know if people have had the time to go and Google the kinon porukwe. To go and Google his Jerry Foundation. Na in personal PayPal na dey there. Eba lo wo ga o odimma. Wọ́n ṣe washadaya. Otokini, good morning. How are you? Sorry, good evening. How are you? Who alagbafo ni? Wo tell me I too like you, Gary. You understand the things of the spirit. No, on a more serious note, just on your phone. I do one yesterday. If you see the kind of corner, I don't know. Say I go fire until I begin to do that show yesterday. Can't see the way they corner me. You will go to fire. You are chastising the things of the spirit. Just type on your smartphone. Just type Jerry Foundation, and then go on. Shina supporters. Is it supporters? Where they wait? Click on. I think it's supporters. Where you have supporters, and then just click on, you will see donate. Click on donate. When you click donate, na Jerieze direct PayPal account na e go carry you go. Na im direct PayPal account the thing go carry you go. Now they don carry, I never even know. And you know say me yesterday I just dey talk my own. Cause me you see, you don't do emotions with these people. This guy Jerieze wife na SA, na special adviser for Abia State. Okay, go and look at the rigmarole that is happening in Abia State. Na special adviser for Abia State. The guy, go and look at the kind of people that Jerieze hang around, or the kind of people that hang around him. He come say he wan do grant. Wọ́n pè tani o mo conference ẹnu kan wá tì. Anyway, make we leave that one for where that one dey. There is no enterprise anywhere. Elekorun, why you dey go back like this? Enterprise kaka ò sí anywhere. You see, if you want to understand the transparency of any organization, go and look at how they get their funds. They don't have anybody funding them. They are asking people to donate fund. The link don hold on, I dey come. Link don work again bí báwo. Àná wọ́n tá sórí page mi ni. When I start the show, you know say me I go start like one better person. They no understand wetin I wan do. Jerieze under Jerieze Foundation UK. Make I see, make I go. No, it's working. No, tell me it's there. If you type jeriezefoundation.co.uk, type it there. Type jerieeze.co.uk, type it, and then now go to get involved. If you go to that get involved, it takes you straight to donate. Hold on, let me see. Donate is giving you error. Bibawo, kò gbúdọ̀ ṣe error. No, it's taking me. No. Maybe go back again and look at it. If you click on donate, it takes you to, see, this is what you will see when you click donate. Let me show you. I dey come, we go do all well this thing. Make una wait. Àwọn ará ṣọ́ọ̀ṣì ẹ̀kan ló bá dé lánàá nígbà tí mo bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí í ṣe show wọn. Tell me, this is what you will find. Once you click on donate, that's what you will find. Uchechukwu Jerieze. That's what you are going to find there. That's what you will find. Loading the foundation. There is no account number. There's no bank name. It takes you straight to Jerieze's personal PayPal account. Anyway, Nigerians, you know we know they ask question. It's there. I'm not clicking on anything that is different from what is in public domain. You know say me I no dey do anything wey dey private. Na im dey there so. Transparency in the transparency loan. Otumade ló bá ní an international a foreign consultancy company ní gbogbo Nigeria rí Nigerian consultancy company na foreign who agreed to the foreign transparent, and there is no board of trustee. Go make we leave her. The show, anybody who wan catch up, may go watch the show wey we do yesterday. Anyway, so late last year, actually I think precisely, I think it's 30th or 31st of December. Is that 30th or 31st of December? Ó fẹ́ gayé foreign ẹ̀ wọ́n máa dà lù. Wọ́n bá yẹn wọ ṣádáyà level ni. Wọ́n wá dé Elumelu give am money. Toye Cole give am money. I just dey look all of them. And people are there celebrating. You know Nigerians, we do emotional. When we engage with something, we engage from the point of emotions. We don't do active listening. Elekorun, I never see you this year. Happy New Year. Compliment of the season. I just dey talk, dey go. Compliment of the season. Where is my Malu? You can't shop that Malu alone, no. Don't let me come and pay a tithe that provoke the Lord. As we were saying, so on the 30th, I think it's 30th of December, Eh, good evening, Yemi Foluke. How are you? So on the 30th of December, we had there was a news. I think it's either 30th or 31st. I can't remember now. The news broke out. Good evening, Itunu. How are you? The news broke out that one of the Nigerian actress, I think she actually acts. If I remember, I think she actually acts English movies as well. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. I can't remember, but I think she does act English movie, but I don't know, to be fair. Um, on the 30th or 31st of December, the news broke. No, I think it's 30th. I think the news broke out that this actress, that's the lady you are looking at on your screen, Alwell Ademola. So I think she's a granddaughter to Ademola Adetokunbo, the Chief Judge Ademola Adetokunbo. They're a popular family. So the news broke out that she passed away. Oh, she acts English movie. Thanks so much. That she passed away sadly. I think she's 49. She was 49 at the time. So she passed away, and they said, there was a lack of clarity as to how and what led to her passing away. And Nigerians thought, Nigerians, if you are looking for, if you see, because we are so emotional. That is why we have the kind. That's why we have the kind of leadership we have, and we have the kind of services we have in Nigeria. That's what it is. We are not active listeners. We are driven by emotions. Anyway, so there was lack of clarity as to why she passed away, and I think it was even more of a shock to everyone because I think a day or two before then she was actually in an event where she was there singing, dancing and smiling and doing whatever she was doing, and then I think few hours before her passing she had posted something. That song, in the name of Jesus they go see the end of the year, something like that. So she had posted that on her page, and of course then the news came. First there was a lot of backlash from some close friends and some close associates. First, because apparently people got the news. Nigerian factor, and that's another thing that we do where we are very we can be sometimes very insensitive. So apparently the news broke out, and immediately people started posting it. They said there's a blogger among them that went and posted it on Kinon Purukwe. They went and posted it on their page, and apparently families saw the news. The first time they were seeing the news was on the page. And if I remember very well, I think she still has her mom. I think she still has her parents. So there was a lot of questions around. I remember some people came out, they were very irritated by what is, and of course, rightly so, they have the right to be irritated by what had happened. So there was that anger that, how can you guys just be so insensitive? You went and posted a video, you went and posted a rest in peace. You know how our people they behave. So they said they went and posted rest in peace. Then there was another people that said there are people that can't even stand this lady, but yet they are very quick to post rest in peace. But when people are celebrating their birthday, they don't post them. Anyway, they shall put all the stories there, shall. So then subsequently, I think the news then broke out that she had a heart attack. Okay, and then of course, trust our people. Some people don't. So anyway, in between, they said she had an attack, and trust Nigerians, trust us. Some people don't know how to filter words. The next thing they were like, it's because of her weight. She is big. She's shaking it. Yes, let's even agree that she's overweight. Must you guys go to the level? There's some things like, it's just like I was speaking to somebody some while ago, and the person said to me, you are fat. So I said, of course I know. And it's the way they said it. Our people don't know how to say, we don't know how to present things. We are very insensitive. Someone is slim, you don't even know what that person is going through. And I don't know where we got that story of if you are slim, it means you are healthy. I don't know where people got that story from. There's a guy, I saw his video on FYP. They called the guy Oracle. The guy said he does a fitness training. You understand? The guy literally screams. I don't know how. Anyway, I suppose in Nigeria, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a celebrity. The guy was just shouting, "You are fat." There's no better way to tell you are fat. And if you are slim, yes. If you are thin, you are thin. And I'm like, come on. People go through all sorts of stuff. The fact that someone is slim, you don't even know what that person is battling with. I lost someone very close to me, a very close, a former colleague. Okay, last year, I lost a former colleague. The lady is just a pleasant. Nobody. We didn't even know she had what they call it. We didn't know she had health concerns. When you are talking about fitness, hello Anton, how are you? When they're talking about fitness, that lady is very, very fit. These kind of people that they are very mindful what goes in their mouth. When you are looking for, when you talk about healthy living, they are a very good example of healthy living. But of course, she had health concerns that she was battling with. And I remembered when she passed away, in our African community, the person was based in Glasgow. When she passed away, most of the people that came, people came to the house because obviously I went there to see, away from her being a colleague, I actually have a personal relationship with her and the husband as well. So I went over to them one of the times I was in Glasgow. So I went over, and one of the African, people that came to come and see she's married to a Caucasian, and in between there, they were like, and in where they were doing condolence, I'm talking of people who live here in the UK, where they were doing condolence, they were like, and she's very slim. What then buy her? And I'm like, how do you go to someone's home? You are consoling someone and you are asking such questions. Like, what is your business? We walk by that. Hello, Issa, how are you? What is your business? We walk by that. Can you not pay condolence and look away? And come and see the way they are drilling the widower, which is her husband. How was she in the hospital? How long was she in the hospital? Like, there's a time and place for questions to be asked. But hey, it is what it is. And I remember subsequently, a few people who knew I was close to her, they phoned me. We didn't even know that she was in the hospital. They were just going on, and I'm like, and why is that your problem? So at a point, there was even one of them, I had to cut her short. I was like, look, don't ask me this kind of questions. I think this is very insensitive. I had to say to the lady, I said, look, this is very insensitive. What it by her? How is that a business right now? She passed away. Long as she passed away, you're now analyzing. We thought she was healthy. We thought the way she does run in the park, she does this, she does that, and I'm like, come on now. Anyway, so back to Alwell. So what we then discovered is, people were like, she had cardiac arrest. Look at her. She's too fat. She was too fat. We were saying it. Kiniko. And then there was another actress. That actress used to be very slim. And then they were like, apparently people slide into that one's DM and started saying to that one, you better go and reduce your weight before you be the next one. Yes, it could probably be coming from a place of care. But it's the way you present your message that matters. There's a saying there's a way they say it in Yoruba. They said, sorry, he has male and female. That's how I can say, Pelela Kolabo. You understand? You can say sorry and get a compliment, and you get a good remark from it. You get a positive remark, and you can say sorry and you can get Igbaji Oloyi. People battle with all sort of stuff. Of course, I get it. People battle with all sort of stuff. And in life, you don't there's nothing as good as knowing your family medical history. You understand? Some people can be very, very healthy, and yet maybe in their family, it could be that their family history, it could be females, it could be male in their family, there are traces of specific type of illnesses. You never can tell. And that's why, like, I remember when when I worked in sexual reproductive health, that was something I learned, because it's not something we talk about easily. Oh, thank you, Jare Tunu. Sorry, has different translation. Thank you. You know, some people, they are very healthy, they look healthy physically, but maybe their family history, maybe their family health history is diabetics. Some people, they are very prone to cancer. Some people, if you go and look at their family history, if you go and look at pattern of family history, it could be they have a particular type of cancer. Like in the UK here, I know when you just arrive, because I remember when I came back to the UK as an adult, I remember registering at the GP. When I went and re-registered, well, I wasn't registering because obviously I was born here. So when I went to re-register back as an adult, I remember my GP asking me very extensive questions, and I was like, because that's not something they would naturally ask you in Nigeria, at least in my own experience anyway. So I found the question very invasive. And then I remember the GP saying to me that, the reason why we're asking you this question is because we want to understand your family history, your family health history. There were questions they were asking, even around fertility. They were asking me questions, because I remember the GP asking, you said you only have a child. Is there secondary barrenness? They were asking very detailed questions. I had to go for fertility checks, and it made a lot of sense. At that time, I was questioning, I was like, why all this rigmarole? You understand? Even when I remember my first smear test here, they analyzed it and they were like, okay, they said stuff. To be honest, it wasn't something I'm used to doing. You understand? I don't know if they do it now in Nigeria, and I don't know if it used to be done in Nigeria. I never experienced that in Nigeria. Okay? So they went through the medical history, and it made a lot of sense. They looked at, your dad, okay, like how your parents? I said, your dad, what happened? I said, me, this, I said what I know. Your mom, I said it. And they were able to connect the dots. I had to go for gene test. I went for bone marrow test. They did detailed tests, but that was because it was all linked to my own family health history. So it wasn't just a case of just your normal checks. They wanted to check my bone marrow. That was how I got to know that they do bone. I mean, I don't know, say they do bone. I didn't understand the whole bone marrow thing. They did that. I get migraine, and they started monitoring it. So this is something. And there are a lot of things that are unique, and each and every one of us, I'm very, very sure, if we look back at the male or female in our household, in our family, their pattern of illnesses. Some people, they have very some people is what's the name? It could be diabetics. Some people is high blood pressure. Some people, they have gestational diabetes. When they are pregnant, they get diabetics. Some people, as females, when they have their baby, the women in their household, the women in their families have postnatal depression. Exactly in town. So and all these things help, because it helps you to navigate your own life. Some people, if you ever have a child in the UK here, if you ever have a child in the UK, the only test when they don't go do that pikin, na test when they never discover. They will do all sort of checks on that child. Even you'll be feeling sorry for the child, the way they'll be pricking the child. And there's a reason why they're collecting those informations. It was through the test that I realized that if anything ever happens to me, the only person that can ever donate blood to me is my immediate younger brother. So there were so many things, and it made a lot of sense, because I remember when I had my son. Then, I remember that I needed blood, because I lost quite a significant amount of blood, and I remember I needed blood. My mom was not fit. The people around that could have done it, they were not fit. They didn't see them fit. So there are sort of things apart from those one wey dey do, what's your genotype, what's your blood group, that is, your health history is way beyond that. Anyway, so as I was saying, people were like, you see, she's fat, it's because she's fat, that's why she has it. Who told you? There are people who are slim, who have high blood pressure. I know someone very close to me, the amount of medication wey that person dey pop, ologbeni, me sef, I don't even like medication. If anything do me, I prefer to get injection. I rather be injected than I rather get injection than to get medication, because medication I will forget it. Anyway, so as we were saying, as we were talking, anyway, that story kind of hang there. People were like, what's going on? Of course, there was condolence. Then there was also the angle of, I think, the brother, if I remember, whether our brother or our cousin, the brother or the cousin also came out and said, in Nollywood, they are pretenders. Some people did not reach out to her when she was alive. Normal rigmarole go dey grand. Okay. Anyway, so subsequently, she was laid to rest. I think she was laid to rest in this year, early in January. She was laid to rest. Now, following all of that, we also subsequently had the case of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, whose son, one of her twin, became obviously passed on due to negligence. And this is not uncommon. Remember, there's this guy I used to follow on TikTok then. What's the name of the guy? He used to call his next of kin. The guy used to call his children next of kin. The guy does travel vlog. Well, not just travel vlog, but he does a lot of travel. He does good voiceover. He says it in Yoruba. I've forgotten his name now. The guy passed away. I can't remember his name. Please, does anybody remember who I'm talking about? The guy used to do travel vlog, but he does it in Yoruba language. I think he went to University of Lagos. He passed away while he was playing football. I've forgotten his name. I used to follow him. I just like his travel vlog. In short, it was because of him that I fell in love with Hungry. Yeah, the Yoruba guy that fell. I can't remember his name. He used to call his children next of kin. It's the way he does his voiceover. That's what used to get me. Anyway, now that guy is slum. And instead of, CPR is not something that people do. There are a lot of things I feel. A lot of people would have passed. They could have been, their whatever could have been mitigated. Anyway, so this morning, I was just watching. I was going through the system. I was just going through FYP, and then I saw this video of Biola Adebayo. I think that's what she's called, the Nollywood actress, where she had interviewed the neighbor of Alwell, and the neighbor was given an account of her last minutes, of her last moment. Let's all listen to it together, and then obviously we'll come and analyze.
Good. So sorry about everything that happened. You are our closest neighbor, and then you were the one around.
Please, can you all hear the
happened?
Hold on. Can you all hear the is the audio clear enough? Please let me know. Just type yes if it's clear enough. Oh, okay. Now let's listen. Let's listen to it. Voice credit to Obiola Adebayo. Talk to be a show. Now let's go.
Now, can you tell us what really happened?
On that fateful day, it was on a Saturday.
Yes.
She called me. Usually, I will never be at home on a Saturday. But that day, I was home with my husband and she called at exactly 1:34. When she called, she said, "She wanli." You know, I wouldn't know what made me. I felt something was wrong for her to have called me. So I had to quickly call my husband and my little baby. So the three of us rushed out of the house. But unfortunately, we couldn't get entrance to the house because she had not opened the door that afternoon.
Okay.
While we were there, you know, my husband just felt we could speak with her at a place just by our window. So he called me and I went there. I noticed she was stark naked. Stark naked. So I was like, "Actress, please." I kept calling her. She was always actress to me. I say, actress, please open the door. My son was like, "Mom, Dad, no, let's break this door." Before we knew it, he had broken the net. And he was like, he had even attempted breaking the other door, the main door. But actress, we just heard her say, Emma Shilekun. Emma wo, or what do you people say? We don't break the door. So when she
Because
said
she was naked.
Because she was naked. It took her a very long time. She had a dress with her. She eventually had the dress on.
But she could not wear it.
She wore it.
Okay.
She wore the dress herself that day. She wore it, but it was a short one.
Okay.
And immediately I noticed it was short.
Was she sitting on the floor?
Yeah, she was sitting on the floor.
By the door?
Very close to the door. Very, very close. But because she was stark naked, she couldn't... that was the reason why she did not open the door on time. And when my son said, "Let's break," she kept saying, Emma Bolekun, Moma Shilekun. And immediately she had on the dress, she opened the door.
Herself.
But before then, she had gasped for breath. So I knew we were in for trouble. So when she opened the door and my husband saw the situation, my husband ran out to say, "First aid first." But unfortunately, he got to two places and the nurses were not around. So he had to come back. Then again, I said, "Let's give her something to drink." We went to buy something, gave her Lucozade Boost. Then I said, "Please, I have Holy Communion at home." I gave her, she drank it. She drank the Holy Communion. And, you know, when we noticed how she was, I had to, it started raining. The rain was heavy, yes. I had to quickly run out to look for other hands because we had tried to put her in the car. But when we got her up, she couldn't move her legs. So I ran out and started calling for help. People were not around. I ran to the other street. Fortunately, I met 2-3 other people. I was saying, "Please leave everything you are doing, please." So they ran with me. FT guys, but it was so unfortunately they couldn't still carry her.
Exactly.
But beforehand, I had to call my son, "Yeah, get me my cover clothes, get me my bed sheet, you know, just to cover her nakedness because what she had on was small."
Short.
Yes. But before we knew it, she gasped for breath again, a second time that time. And I saw the way she was behaving. But we tried. We lifted her up. About 5-6 people lifted her up into the car. And I had to drive the car myself.
Why?
Because she jokes. She would be like, I wouldn't know. I guess somebody was like, they told her one time that, if anything happens, what will you do? Said, I have good neighbors, So, with that.
Okay, so there was nobody that could drive the car at that time?
We had somebody to drive the car. The person was nervous, a man. I had to tell the person, to come out of the gate was difficult. I said, come down from the car. And I drove the car myself, even faster than how I could have. I don't like driving out of these clothes. So oftentimes what I do is, I have a girl, a lady, about 26. I'll tell her, come and please drive the car out for me. But that day, I wouldn't know where that strength came. I drove it very fast. Even people at Pipeline, where she lives, they knew something was wrong. It was that bad. It was bad. It's still like a dream to me. Especially when I see her things around. I'll be like, is it really true? The actress. Because that's what I will always call her actress. Is it true that she has really gone?
So you, between that time that she called you till the time she was able to open the door, how long?
It took a long time.
Can you imagine?
It took almost over 30 minutes. It took a long time. I had to keep saying, actress, please open the door. Because I think it was difficult for her to put on her gown. That was what really...
30 minutes, long.
She never knew it was going to result to... It was going to end that way. If not,
exactly,
she wouldn't have... She was covering herself.
Yes.
She wouldn't have minded her breaking the door that day, honestly.
But she insisted that you shouldn't break the door.
Yeah. At the time, we lifted her up. But it was difficult for her to carry her legs. Yes. I think breath was already going out of her.
30 minutes, solid 30 minutes.
Did she make it to the hospital?
Well, I don't think so, because my husband, in a way, said they got her pulse in the hospital. But I don't want to totally believe that.
No, the doctor said there was no pulse.
I don't want to totally believe that. It was the way she acted. That was what made me to quickly run out. It was my first time of experiencing a thing like that. I've had friends past, but not while I was there. I was there. It was when I noticed she couldn't move her legs again that I knew that there was danger. I knew there was, because I had a friend that passed like that.
While you were inside the car, okay, you were the one driving.
I was the one driving, and
who was
my
son?
My son is my daughter's friend was with us. So I told her, Esther, enter the car and please don't leave her. Stop pressing her chest, and that was what she was doing. We never knew she had passed. We never knew she had passed.
Oh my goodness.
At that time, she wasn't saying anything.
She wasn't saying anything. She wasn't saying anything.
Even before you left here, though.
She wasn't saying anything again. She wasn't.
So when you got to the hospital?
When we got to the hospital, to bring her out of the car too was difficult. But they got help. They brought her out. They attended to her immediately.
Yes.
They passed. They had to they passed a drip to her to see if they could resuscitate her. They had to give her oxygen. They tried. They were with her for over 2 hours. Even before most of you came, they were still with her.
Yes. Yes.
But at the time, we felt she was all right. That was why they took her into hospital. Yes, yes, we were so hopeful. I was so hopeful. I felt actress, you know. We were very hopeful. They said they are taking her in, and I felt that means all is well. Only for them to later tell us that she had passed. They told us she had passed, which was a very painful one.
Prior to that time, what kind of relationship did you have?
I had a very cordial relationship with her. Honestly, I never knew her before she moved in. I wasn't one of the types that watched TV. So, she said, we had a good relationship, even with my children. When my children should call me, I should say, you have lovely children, calm, they are well trained and everything. We'll talk, we gist, we can be up, we can stand for a long time and talk for hours. My children will be like, Mom, I say, no, actress now. They'll be from upstairs say, Mom, they'll be winking at me that I should come up. Say no, she loved to gist too. When she wanted to. Yeah. It's not when she doesn't want to talk with you, she won't say outside. So we had a good relationship. At least we lived together for between 4 to 6 years. We never had any quarrel. We never, and we never quarrel about anything. She knew where to draw a line, and I knew the same thing. Yes. Yeah. So we never had any cause to fight or quarrel about anything. She was here at home, she was very peaceful. Peaceful with everybody.
It's very unfortunate that we couldn't get to do an autopsy to be certain of the cause of her death. Now, relating by what happened that day, some felt it was heart attack. I felt it was an asthmatic attack. Judging by what happened, you said that for a while she was gasping for breath. And then knowing that she had asthma from time.
Whoa.
I was surprised when you said
she has
that
asthma.
You didn't know that she was asthmatic.
Yeah, she never mentioned it.
Yes.
She never mentioned she was asthmatic because she told us
goodness.
Almost everything that was wrong with her. Everything. She made us to know because I know she had BP. Yeah, blood pressure, high blood pressure. She told me she was pre-diabetic, yes, because I've seen her wound and she'll be bothered. And once she applies one or two things, the wound will get dry. Then she made us to know she had what they call PCOB.
Yes.
PCOB. Yes. PCOS.
Oh, thank you for budget. Yes, thank you.
Aside those things, we didn't know she was asthmatic. She never mentioned it to us.
Asthma was a popular thing that we all know. For our colleagues, our friends, we know she was asthmatic. We're always mindful. In fact, when this place is too dusty, she would leave. One thing I know, I'm not even sure of this pre-diabetic, because for me, Alwell didn't really watch what she hates. We would, once she is angry, just give her ice cream, give her cake, give her chocolates. Like about a month ago, I traveled and she was, you buy me this chocolate, you buy me this, she would eat it, So I don't know so much about that, but I had always known that she had she was asthmatic. So I felt that what happened to her was an asthmatic attack, because judging by the time frame also, I know heart attack could give you time to, if it's not cardiac arrest, if it's not cardiac arrest, and then maybe a BP, but we are not sure. We're just trying to let people know that is either
so she was buried without autopsy
attack or asthmatic attack. I'm sure it will be one of those, maybe that triggered the high blood pressure and all that happened. Well, in all of this, I would just like to, I've learned something, and one of the major things that I learned is try not to always be at home alone, especially when you know that you have some underlying ailment. Make sure that one or two people are with you, because imagine if she had someone with her, she'd
have been able to open the door.
At least somebody would have covered her up, even if it was just with a wrapper, with a blanket or something, or just she had those boo-boos, just wear something, and then the person could rush out and get help. Imagine taking after 30 minutes, 1 hour, because as at the time she called you at around 1:34. Your son called me around 2:34. You didn't an hour after. She was still home. You didn't get to the hospital until like around 3:03. Do you understand?
Yes, thereabout, yes.
We don't have an emergency in Nigeria. We don't have where we can call like 911 that you get rescued. You understand?
Fast, yes.
So going through all of that, imagine if it was with somebody and then somebody just quickly gets a first aid, no first aid, bring out the car in 30 minutes or less. The hospital is very close.
Yeah, would have been able to
make it to the hospital. So we're doing this so that we all could learn from it also. Make sure there's someone with you. Of course, what will happen will happen. But some things are just preventable sometimes. We know God has the final say. When it's time, it's time. But what if we can revive it? What if we can do something? So, do you have a memory that you think an unforgettable memory of?
Okay, I think we've gotten the gist. So, from first and foremost, what I see when I was listening to the video earlier, what I first thought about was CPR. I feel some pain in Nigeria are preventable if we have if people are trained on CPR. Now, Biola rightly said, you see, if there was someone in the house with her, she probably would have been able to request for help earlier than usual. Then also, exactly, Queen Esther. And also, the healthcare system in Nigeria, we cannot but talk about all of this without talking about the state of the healthcare system in Nigeria. The healthcare system in Nigeria is just not working. And I keep wondering, all those healthcare, all those budgets for health, all those bogus budgets that we hear for our health, where is it going to? Because from the look of things, Nigeria, when they say may Nigeria no happen to, be prayer. It's not a prayer. We have health minister. There were health ministers. They keep saying that they do budgets. They will call billions of naira for health care. Where are the emergencies? Remember, it was also in that December that the case of Anthony Joshua and his friends happened. Okay, fine. His friends did not make it. Anthony Joshua will make am. They removed him from inside accident scene, inside a car that he was cramped in. And he was standing on his feet. Somebody that you don't even know his health history. know his health history. He stood on his feet there. Fear no even catch you and make anything no happen. Hey, Adetayo, how are you? That one is there. Then secondly, okay, look at this lady. Fair enough. With all the rigmarole, they said she called them, she was naked, she was this. Ideally, I'm guessing they would have noticed that she was gasping for breath or whatever it was that was wrong with her. Yes, obviously for dignity purpose, she's screaming. She's probably said, "Don't come in, don't come in." But having understood that, there's something all right, like the neighbor said, he said that is very unlike her. In a case where the healthcare system is working and there's an emergency number, ideally the paramedics would have come, or they will even be on the phone while they are guiding the neighbor, whoever it is, on how to get into the property. Which communion? Please leave all those communion story alone. Even the communion they gave her, the Lucozade boost, you don't know her blood sugar. Was her blood sugar low and that spiked it? Because there's nothing as good as knowing your health history. And not just you knowing your health history, but people around you understanding your health history. Now, the neighbor said they are aware that she has pre-diabetics. She has high blood pressure and all whatnot. Now, they didn't know that she has asthma. From what Bella was saying, Bella thinks it's possible that she had asthma attack. Now, one lady for YouTube, she said they said they give Holy Communion. And then she said they suppose they give well, I don't even get the time, Gary. Anyway, they carry Lucozade and communion. You carry and give the person, carry and give all well. You don't even know what her blood sugar level is. Then she has asthma. Like I suppose for the neighbor said they don't know that she had asthma, because maybe if they knew that additional information, that would have helped. Irrespective of her saying whether they should what's the name, whether she was saying they should come in, they shouldn't come in, they would have gone in. Somebody would have, even if it means a female, let them break in the door, whatever they do, and get a female to go in. Yeah, she's very mindful of her dignity, which is understandable. I mean, I don't know much about her health apart from what they are saying online. But could it have been that if somebody had gone in earlier, because it took 30 minutes according to the neighbor, then the time they used to run around, imagine if the health system in Nigeria was working properly. All what the neighbor was doing, the neighbor and the people who came to help, that's the work of the paramedics. That's the job. The paramedics are the ones who are meant to come in. They are meant to come in and actually come in. I'm going to pull a what's the name? I'm going to put numbers there for those who are in the medical field. Please call in and let's educate ourselves. Okay? They would have also helped. 30 minutes is too long for someone who is grasping for breath. 30 minutes is damn too long. Obviously, we don't know her health history. Apart from what they are saying, nobody really knows her health history. And then they were saying they needed, I think they said they needed about 6 people to help. Even the car, we don't know the size of the car. It's possible that she was crammed in the car. I don't know. I mean, we're only going by what they are saying. The ambulances are built in a specific way for a reason. I mean, I don't know if she would have been alive or not, but the point here is, I mean, even here in the UK, where our so-called, well, I wouldn't say the health system is the best of the best because it's not, but at least it's still responsive to an extent. You know, it's still responsive to an extent. People still buy here. It doesn't mean that people don't buy. People buy for different reasons here. You know, because I was listening to the interview and I'm like, and then to even come and cap it, she cried with all these health concerns. She cried and there was no autopsy done. What was the cause of death? They don't know what the cause of death is. I'm telling you, in town, what was the cause of death? Because from what Bella was saying, they don't know the cause of, so they have a death certificate where they don't know wetin kpai the woman. I'm just kind of picturing the UK system. You issue birth certificate, you don't know wetin kpai the person. You yourself, you will not live to tell that story. Where you go tell that story, you dey in a different place. Hold on, let me. Hello.
Hi, Apoko. Can you hear me?
All right, hold on. Let me increase the volume. Oh, sorry. Just give me 1 minute.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My blood was just boiling.
You need
I'm
to
already
speak.
starting
We
off.
can't hear you clearly.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
It's not too great, but we are managing.
Let me take out my earphone.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
This is much better. This is better.
Okay. All right. See, I'm just, my blood was just boiling the way you were talking. Okay, she's asthmatic. The first thing she needs is oxygen. Because she was probably, even though she was naked, I respect her dignity, and rightfully so, but she needed oxygen. A lady died in Kosa roughly 2 years ago due to an asthmatic attack. She was getting ready for church, and she had an asthmatic attack. So, unfortunately, our healthcare system in Nigeria, I work in the UK, but I work in the US now.
Okay.
And the first thing you do, call 911. You hit the nail on the head, apropos, because the first 5 to 10 minutes are very critical. Her blood sugar, her oxygen will be given by paramedics. In fact, by the time she gets to the hospital, she will be much more stabilized.
Exactly.
She'll be much more stabilized. And it breaks my heart because I work in the UK and I work in the emergency room. This is how we manage things. The 911 call would have called the emergency room and say, we're bringing a 45-year-old lady. She's asthmatic. She's diabetic. Why are they giving her Holy Communion? I mean, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to, but the wine is even going to raise her sugar because that's not what you
No,
do.
my sister.
You don't even know whether
Sorry.
she's hypoglycemic or
Sorry to interrupt you. You don't have to be sorry because we need to educate ourselves. You see that problem of in Nigeria we do things even here in my line of job I see some things and I'm like, why are we Africans like this?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, because first and foremost you carry Holy Communion, you are giving someone that you don't know their medical history. You carry Holy Communion, you are giving them. Not even at that, you carry Lucozade boost. You don't even know the blood. You don't know the blood level.
You haven't even taken the blood sugar yet. The minute ambulance, the minute EMTs arrive, that's why I always respect those people. The minute they arrive, same thing here in the US. Ma'am, could you tell us your medical history? Are you diabetic? Are you asthmatic? That's why you have them go around in pairs. One is driving and the other one is there. I've escorted people in the ambulance in the UK. So they do everything. They do the finger stick. Once they establish the sugar, if she's low in sugar, they'll give her cubes of sugar or orange juice. Just pending, because the next emergency room might be very far from where she lives. It was just a preventable. And another thing I would like to say, I'm not going to take your time, apropos.
No, go ahead.
Why don't they train everybody to know how to do CPR? I was so happy when you mentioned it. Chest compressions. Apart from being a nurse, everybody is trained to know how to do CPR. They have to have CPR CPR, what do you call it? Kits in every Chinese restaurant or any restaurant, not necessarily Chinese. Everybody, because these are deaths that are preventable. They are preventable. They are preventable.
Even
So
apart from restaurant, caller, even apart from restaurant, like in our place of work, in our offices, you have kids for a reason.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. We are mandated to do every 2 years. You don't have your BCLS, you cannot walk. You cannot walk. I've performed CPR on a patient on a plane before. On a plane. I'm so sorry, I'm at work. That's why you're hearing.
No, it's okay. Yeah.
You know, so it's just a preventable death. Preventable death.
It's so painful. You know, when I was listening to it, I was like, Egbami, what are these people saying?
I knew her grandfather because he used to live with, he was a next door neighbor to my uncle. Yes.
Because I was like, you know, I was listening to the interview, I was like, Egbami, this is preventable now. And then they were saying they gave her Holy Communion. I said, you are Holy Communion as how?
Oxygen. What she needed was oxygen. Forget about the sugar. The sugar will take care. But oxygen, she needed air.
And you know another thing, caller. You know another thing is, you know when something like that happens in Nigeria, people will gather. Instead of giving space for her, they will gather around the person.
I remember the brother saying what you said earlier in your first segment, that people are now coming, they're now saying things about her. I think he wasn't able to attend the funeral. Maybe it's the cousin of the brother. He couldn't be in the country because he was in another country. But I love the way he said it, because I read it online that, people were just saying, they're misdiagnosing, things they don't know. When they said she went into cardiac arrest, my first thought, the first thing that came to mind was that maybe she was hypertensive. But then you never know. Somebody could be very slim, they have high cholesterol, they're diabetic, they're this, they're that, they have everything. And somebody could be mildly obese and don't have nothing, and they're healthy.
Please, before you go, are you a medical person?
Yeah, I'm a registered nurse.
Okay, can I ask you a question? I have an answer to the question I'm asking you, but I just want to confirm this to a medical person. Do they bury someone? Do they bury someone without a cause of death? Because Bella was saying that that there's no cause of death. So how did they issue death certificates? Because in the UK you are meant to write the cause of death
on the death certificate. But mind you, I like you said, people don't start when. How do I put it? It's probably the family probably doesn't want people to know. They don't want to make it public because they know. They know. Her mother will know. I'm not. It's not a good thing for you to.
Yeah.
But her close relatives will know. And like you said, I left Nigeria a long time ago, but it should be on the death certificate.
Okay.
What are you even talking about? My mom died in 2018, and the cause of death, was written on the death certificate. It was, and she died in Nigeria.
Okay, because the reason why I'm asking this question is, in my profession, I'm what you call the corporate parent here.
Right.
Okay, like how you have the police, social work and co. Yeah. So I work in children and family, and I know, like in short, last year there was a child that passed last year. One of the children of a staff that I supervise, the child passed, and the mom was too traumatized, okay, to go and see the child's whatever. So as a corporate parent, we then had to step in because the child was in foster. So we had to step in. And I remembered, for me to be able to go and sign, you know how you have to sign all the paperwork and blah, blah, blah. So what I had to do, being a corporate parent, what I had to do was, because when something like that happens, because the child was on child protection, so when something like that happens, the direct worker, they are all under investigation, just to make sure that, everything is all, there was nothing that was missed. So the autopsy and everything, I had to sign.
Wow.
You understand? I had to sign for that. Of course, I know what I came to job for, but I had to sign for that. And then when we had to, like, because they had to do autopsy to establish the cause of death, I had to sign to all of those things. And of course, in my line of job, I understand that if I sign to it, if anything happens, I am going to be drawn to court. I understand it. But it's just, yeah, but I just could not understand how can they, like, I don't personally, at least I know people who I have family members who have passed in Nigeria, and on their death certificate they will put the cause of death.
Yeah, my mom's word was written on it. However, like I said, anything goes in Nigeria. Anything goes. Anything goes. So I would just take that with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
The cause of death was not on the death certificate. I would take that as with a grain of salt. I don't believe that. Maybe they didn't want it on initially. Maybe they now have it on it. Who knows?
Yeah, but that's even a private information, because you don't have to tell anybody. You understand? Like the cause of death, you don't have to disclose to it. Even here in the UK, you don't have to disclose to anybody.
Exactly. And the lady even saying it, how does she know it wasn't on the best certificate?
She's meant to be a very good friend to the lady that passed. Biola is meant to be good friends. Anyway, me, I don't know. I don't know.
I would take that with a grain of salt. I'll be honest with you. Yeah. But let me leave you because I'm at work.
Oh, thanks so much. Thanks so much.
Today.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. You see our people, we need to start asking the right questions. We need to start asking. Yes, N-Town, that's true. The cause of death is there. I mean, you do is not, it can be a public or a private information depending on, you can choose to disclose it or not disclose it. But they have to write it. They will definitely write it in the death certificate. That I know for a fact. Okay? But the thing is, it's up to you whether you want to share the cause of death or you don't want to share it. Like, there's no law that says you have to share the reason why the person passed away. Okay? Yeah, she might not have access. Tiny Tutu, I get you, because like a death certificate is not, well, to the best of my knowledge, I might be wrong, please correct me if I'm wrong, but nobody knows it all. To the best of my knowledge, death certificate is something that is kept by they usually give it to the family or whoever is a next of kin. Usually it's a next of kin that is being given to. And if it's a case of children or case of a child, it's given to the parents, the nominated parents. At least that's what I understand. Now, there's no law that says you have to share the cause of death. There's no law that says that. At least to the best of my knowledge, though, there's no law that says you must share the cause of death of anyone. It's entirely up to you whether you want to say this is what, except there's something suspicious. And then he has to go through full investigation. Hence the reason why that information can be made more public. Like, at least, let me speak of the Scottish system. The cost of buying does not need to be shared. If there's nothing suspicious, it doesn't need to be shared. The only people that need to know, like, I work in children and family, so the only people that need to know are like the professionals and the parents of the child. And of course, professionals will know generally, because the information, they've got to do like there's paperwork that need to be filled when the child passes away. When a child or a young person passes away, there are paperwork to be filled. So definitely, professionals they need to know, and DWP also needs to know. HMRC needs to know. Things like that. For adults, obviously, for adults as well, the professionals around that adult. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be known to the system. Professionals around that adult, obviously the employer needs to be aware. The designated professionals need to be aware. But the point I'm trying to make here is, in Nigeria, we have our healthcare system. They keep making budget. Last year, the budget of health last year was almost about 5 billion. A trillion. Why am I saying billion? Okay, trillion. is in trillions. So my question is, what are they doing with all those money? Now question o, what are they doing with all those money? Because when you hear anything about health in Nigeria, they will say they are in Abuja. They are always doing a program and seminar in Abuja, in either Sheraton or Nikon. Abeg, na there patient dey? Na question. Then the states, I understand Nigeria, we have 3 stages of government. We have the local, the federal, the state and the local. So what are the states? Shebi states have their own budget. What are they doing? What are they doing with their health budgets and every other budget? But on this particular occasion, we are talking about health. What are they doing with the health budgets? How come there is no how come even the ambulance? Because me, the way me I say, please, I'm sorry, and please correct me. You can call in and correct me if I'm saying the wrong thing. Every time me I've seen ambulance is when they want to do funeral. Now there you go see ambulance, they do wow 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 up and down. Ambulance for here, no, it's not for person wey kpai. Ambulance is for emergency. Ambulance is, there's no because me I don't understand why is it that we don't have ambulance. Because this neighbor, for the person that said where are we blaming the neighbor, nobody is blaming neighbor. What we are saying is, if the system was working, her paying was preventable. Because come to think about it, look at the hours it took. It took them 30 minutes. Okay, yes, I understand the fact. I mean, some people will come and argue now, but she said that nobody should come in. I understand the fact about dignity. Yes, I understand it. But that could also have been mitigated, because all they needed to do, if there was a system where there was an emergency whatever in place, the female neighbor could walk in. They could help open the door or break through the door, and she goes in. Or few females go in. All they needed to do is just to wear her appropriate clothing. It's just to make sure that she was dignified. That's all it is. Because according to the neighbor said that, because she was stark naked, she kept saying, Emma Wale, that's in, don't come in, don't come in. So that means she was protecting her dignity, which is understandable. That also happens here in the Western country. But that can be mitigated. Yeah, she's a celebrity. I think they said she's an English actress and later on branched into the Yoruba industry. So she could have got in. They could have gotten in, even if it's just for the female neighbor, just to cover her up. Like Biola said, maybe wear boo-boo for her. Because at that stage, she needs anything that is free on her body. And she doesn't need anything that will trap air on her body. So once she's wearing an appropriate clothing, that's fine. But hey, it took them 30 minutes. Then when they eventually got in, they said they give her Holy Communion. You don't know her health history. Maybe her sugar is low, maybe her sugar is high. You carry Holy Communion, you carry and give am. They gave her Holy Communion, they gave her Lucozade boost. As how? And I get it. In a state where everybody is panicking, people can act out of impulse. I get it. I'm not saying in any way that I don't get that. We are all human. But think about it this way. If we had an emergency system that works, that neighbor didn't have to put herself in that position. All the neighbor needed to do is 911 or whatever number it is, 111 or whatever it is, 101. Call the number. Ambulance, police, or social work. That's all you needed to do. No, Tiny Tutu. She was going on. So the neighbor, I don't know at what stage you joined us. The neighbor was only just giving an account, and she was saying that the Alwell had reached out to them. Maybe she made a phone call, I don't know, but she just said she called them, and she was saying that, when they got downstairs through her window. Hold on, somebody is trying to call.
Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah. Hello. I want to make a contribution towards this topic. Though I came in late into the program, but I read the comment, and I saw some persons saying they do autopsy in Nigeria. What people should know is that it's not everybody that lives in urban areas, and it's not everybody that works for the government that would need an autopsy. When in Nigeria, for people who work for the government or who work for big companies, just because of notification to get all their benefits, the death certificate is needed. Then when there are cases of police case where some people are saying, oh, this person was killed, or this person died due to one thing or the other, for police, they must produce the autopsy. But for people who do not have any business in these areas, majority of them don't have autopsy. That is for that. Then let's talk about the health system in Nigeria. The health system, mostly because the people connect through the local government. It is the local government that is where people have the first connection with the government. You go to local government areas, the general hospitals are empty. Most of the doctors and nurses, health workers, they've left the countries. Those who have not left, they've gone to open their own private hospitals. You go to some local communities, the primary health center, which is the first call for people to go when they have crisis, in some communities in Nigeria, they are not existing. The ones that are even existing, you need to see the shabby environment, low bed. You have one nurse that has worked and she's tired, posted to a place where you have almost more than 200,000 persons. A whole local government, you go to some local government, a whole community, you have only one doctor. The primary health sector is dead. Every time the government says, we do this, we do this, we do this. How can those who are leading know what the people are going through when they are not part of the system?
Okay, caller, please, I have a question. I get that you're talking about the local government and stuff, but we also have private hospitals in Nigeria. Okay? Because when we're talking about, when we're talking about the healthcare system, I'm not just focusing on government-owned hospitals alone, because that's not how it works alone in Nigeria, not even here in the UK. For private hospitals as well, surely all these private hospitals are springing up. Do they not have emergency system at all? Is that what we are saying?
The private hospital, sometimes majority of the private hospital is not what me and you know. Okay, look at the case of Chimamanda. There was a case some years back of a surgeon, a neurosurgeon, who came to Enugu, his place. This man had heart issues. While in Nigeria for holidays during the Christmas period, the man had crisis. Do you know UNTH, a teaching hospital, they have no stretcher? Somebody that has heart problem, they now put him on what they call these chairs, and they were rolling the man to the theater. This man passed on. He left, and his friends and colleagues over in America were bitter about the incident. The so-called private hospitals, you don't know what goes on there. How many persons in Nigeria do really have money to attend to this, to go to a private hospital? Because when I'm talking, I wasn't living in the city, I live in a local government.
Okay.
You have this hospital, one doctor does all. I've seen cases where a patient presents themselves in a private hospital. You know you cannot do this thing just because you want the money.
You collected the money, you did a fibroid operation. The person that thing happened to is a very close person to me. This doctor did this fibroid surgery. At the end of the day, the thing went wrong. That lady was passing stool through her stomach. She couldn't control, the stool was coming out through her stomach. She had to later take herself to a government hospital. When the doctors saw her in that hospital, they asked her, where did you do this operation? She called the name of the doctor. They had to call the man. Are you the one that did it? He said yes. They now can say it's a mistake. If that lady had died, that is a private hospital. You remember the case that Auntie Aduni did about the lady that the baby died? Me in Nigeria, I will not put my life in the hands of a private hospital because you have one doctor doing 200 things.
Okay, but Kola, I hear you out, but I don't know if you're getting what I'm driving at. I hear you out about private and your reservation about private, but the fact still remains that the healthcare system in Nigeria is not responsive. Whether private, whether public, whether local, whatever stage.
All of them. They are not responsive.
So it's not necessarily about whether they treat you or they don't treat you. It's the fact that the healthcare system, like in the UK, for instance, we have the NHS and we have the private angle of NHS. But either way, which way, when there is an emergency, it is not about whether you are a private, whether you want private care or you want public care. The emergency responds to you first as a human being.
I know somebody from where I am staying. She was sick to the extent there was no way they could do her. They had to hire a taxi and took her to the hospital. When she got to the hospital, they did not ask her what is your name or because the problem she had, she wasn't even seeing with the two eyes. The doctors, they looked at her. It was an emergency case. When they looked at her,
so you are reinforcing what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so the point, sorry. So the point.
Nigeria, that culture is not there.
Okay.
They take people to the hospital at the point of death. You see them telling them, if you don't pay money, you see the nonchalant attitude of the health workers. Somebody did a video around Christmas time. He saw an accident victim. The man took this person to the hospital, a government hospital in Abuja, and he took the man there and the accident victim was in his car, and he rushed him to tell them, there's an accident victim here. He has lost a lot of blood. The doctors and the nurses felt so, the nonchalant attitude, the man was videoing the incident. If you see the way they were dragging their legs, and the man said, that man must not die in my car. What are you paid to do? If you see the attitude, the man put it in video. Federal Jabi in Abuja, and put it in video. The man kept shouting, this man is there. By the time they find out, it took them time. That was how one of the nurses was just ranting her mouth anyway. And the guy was like asking, is this the Nigerian system?
Okay.
Nobody stood up. Nobody cared. They were all moving up and down as if the accident victim. I just pray, if you don't live in Nigeria and you are going, please, you have to be very careful so that you don't get into a problem that will make you to go seek the health facility.
Yeah.
Because it's gory.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks so much. Yeah. So you see the thing, it doesn't matter whether it's health, it doesn't matter whether it's government run or private run. They highlight here, even from what the caller is saying, the highlight here is we do not have a responsive system. Because, like for instance, what the neighbor of Alwell was describing is something that, Alwell has requested for support. She's called the neighbor for help, right? And calling the neighbor for help is very simple. Ideally, if it's a system that they have a response, if it's a system that their healthcare was responsive, irrespective of whether it is private or government run or whatever it is, what would have happened automatically is the neighbor would have called 911 or whatever emergency number that they need to call. Who is this now? Who is this one? Sorry, let me see. The person that sent me that message, are you calling? What's... Sorry, give me 1 minute. I don't know. You know, when you're online, people will just send message. Sorry, just give me 1 minute. What is calling still? You see, our government needs to do better. Our government needs to do better. Our government needs to do better. Now, while we are on that one, you saw the case of Chimamanda as well. We saw the case of Ngozi Chimamanda. You carry small pikin, do MRI. You didn't do it rightly. Look at how that cost. It cost the life of that child. I think I read it somewhere that Ngozi is she's aiming to sue them. Rightly so. They need to be sued. Look at the case of Anthony Joshua as well. The paramedics came. We are paramedics. We came. They were busy granting statement back and front and back. They were there granting statements. They brought out somebody from a car, and so you brought out somebody from an accident scene, and the guy was standing on his feet. Fear self no cash out whether the guy gets internal bleeding. Fear no cash out whether that boy gets internal bleeding. I don't know. And they were talking as if it's something good that they have done to themselves. We have a health minister. What is the role of our health ministers? We have NGOs. We have international NGOs. That Anthony Joshua own no be small something. What is the role of our health ministers? In short, in Nigeria, we actually have two health ministers, because you have the health minister of normal health minister and the health minister of states. Can you just imagine? All those budgets, what are they doing with it? What are they doing with all those trillions that they budget? Who is holding who accountable? They keep rolling out new projects. Like this lady now, if with her health, with all the health stuff that she has, there would have been people who would have been managing her health. What's it called? She would have had medical staffs around her. The medical staff, what hospital does she use? Oh, okay. Hello, are you calling again?
Hello. Yeah, I called back in again. Apart from that, the system, even the professionals, I'm going to give an incident that happened in Delta State back. There was this lady. She's an environmental health officer, a director. So she had a pregnancy through IVF. So when she wanted to give birth, she had to go back to the hospital where it was done. Could you believe that after the doctor that did that surgery, FMC, Asaba, immediately he did that operation, as a medical doctor, you were supposed to stay behind and monitor the patient and the babies for 24 hours. Do you know the man left the hospital, took his car, left Asaba and drove straight to Warri? At the end of the day, that woman died. That woman died. When that lady died, because she was a health professional, the environmental health professionals of Delta State, they took the matter up. When they took the matter up, at the end of the day, because FMC was under federal government, that main doctor This is a consultant doctor. Look at the mess he did. He was sacked. Chief medical nursing was sacked. The person in charge of lab was sacked. To everybody that were supposed to stand in the line of duty for care for that woman were all sacked. This is a doctor that was sacked due to negligence. Do you know the state government employed that man? So what will you say? The state government now employed him to come and work for the state. Somebody that the federal government sacked because of negligence, operating on a patient you were supposed to monitor for 24 hours, you just left and that person died. So you said the problem. Even the medical professionals, they are also part of the persons sabotaging the health system. They are part of it. So even when we are calling the government, we are calling the state, we are calling the federal, we are calling all of them, the health professionals are also part of the mess. So there is a need for overhauling. Even when you pay them that money they are requesting, that attitude. Look at him, Amanda, talking to one of the directors of the hospital about the death of her son, and the guy was laughing. Yeah, they don't care.
I don't.
That attitude.
Caller, I have a different take on some of the things you're saying. You see, yes, individual staff can have their behavior and everything, but it all comes back to structure. And that's why you can't talk about these things without talking about the government. If structures are in place, it's just like the NHS here. Like where I am, we have the NHS system. NHS is not a perfect system. It's far from being perfect. I can tell you that for free. I used to be a procurement manager in NHS, so I know what I'm saying. But the reality is, yes, do we not have negligent staff in NHS? Oh, yes, we do. But there's a structure in place, okay, whereby this is what is expected when you contact NHS. Irrespective of the behavior of an individual in NHS, there's a procedure in place. And that procedure is enshrined in the structure. And that's the same for every other thing. Okay?
In Nigeria.
So,
yeah, in Nigeria, there's no aspect of health and negligence. All is not 100%. But in Nigeria, that structure is not there. Is it the case?
But that's what I am. Sis, that's what I am driving at, and that's why you can't talk about isolated, like the case you gave, where you said the man was sacked from FMC, but then the state government employed him. Now, if a proper structure was in place, that would not happen, and even if it happens, it will be open for investigation.
That is what I'm saying. What about the case in Aminu Kano Hospital? They did surgery for a woman. They forgot surgical scissors.
Yeah, but we are still talking about the lack of structure.
That was how they were going up and down. Take this woman back to the theater and remove it. They were going front and front. That woman passed on.
Okay.
So, like the thing you said, the structure.
Caller,
the same person that has been dismissed from one thing.
Caller, sorry to interrupt you. See, we can have numerous examples, but when there's no structure in place, all those examples will continue to reoccur.
That is what I'm saying. The structure is not there. The NMA, the Nigerian Medical Association, is as irresponsible as I can't imagine.
Okay,
because
so
no structure. The association that imagine. Do you know that in Nigeria, the medical board, they don't even have a board.
Okay,
there's no board.
Caller, we are still back to what I'm saying. You see, all of this thing that you are talking about it in isolation. It cannot be discussed in isolation without looking at the bigger picture around it.
Yeah, that is what I'm saying. I'm not talking about it in an isolation. I'm just also like buttressing the fact that all these things has to do. Maybe I didn't use the word structure, but I used the example to say the structure is so faulty and so bad that look at the examples that have been happening till now. even this new government came in, is it 2023 we have this new government or what? Or 2025, I can't just remember. This new government came in, they don't even have a medical board.
Okay.
There is no medical board sitting anywhere where cases
But that
can
is
be
the
referred to
role.
the chairman of.
See, scholar, that's the role. That's why I was asking the Minister of Health, what are they doing? Because the Ministry of Health is the one that manages policy, legislation, and guidance around health delivery. Okay?
How do we know if the both ministers of health we have in Nigeria are not people who study geography?
Okay.
Or people who
It doesn't
study
matter
education.
what a politician studied. Because, like here in the UK, I'll give an example. Like here in the UK now, for instance, like in Scotland, the health, even not just UK, not in Scotland, United Kingdom generally, as a politician, you are not working in isolation. Okay? You work with the technocrat. It doesn't matter what you studied. You work with technocrats. But when there is no structure, hold on, caller, just hold on. When there is no structure, what you find out happening, which is what we are seeing in Nigeria, is that the ministers or the politicians are the one calling the shot instead of the technocrats. I'll give you a practical example. When Nicola Sturgeon, the former First Minister of Scotland, she used to be the Secretary of Health in Scotland. I used to work for NHS Scotland at the time. I was a procurement manager at the time. Okay, so her being she was a secretary to she was a minister for health in Scotland under Jack McCollin. Okay, now I was working for the NHS Health Scotland, which is like your health board, where we oversee the health NHS in Scotland here. We are like the research, we oversee. Let me leave it at that. Now, my office reports directly to our office. Okay, because that was when they were doing the 5 a day and the alcohol minimum pricing, whatever that we were doing at the time. Now, Nicola Sturgeon does not have a health background, but I don't have a health background. I am an accountant at the time. Okay, but we're working with, because NHS is not just about you being in the medical field. There are so many parts to NHS. But the thing is, for whatever we were doing, we had health professionals who were guiding those of us who are called the administrative staff of NHS. Okay? So when we then go to advise on health issues to this health secretary, we are going with very detailed information. The health secretary, Nicola Sturgeon, did not stand anywhere to say this is what has to happen. I can tell you that for free because my office reported to her. But she would ask questions like every other person would ask questions, because when anything goes wrong with the policy she has passed, her neck is the one on the line. Okay? So she doesn't. The point I'm trying to drive at is your health minister does not necessarily need to be a health professional. I worked in NHS. I have no business apart from sexual reproductive that I did. Which the sexual reproductive that I did, I was never in a science field. I'm never in a medical field. But I oversee policy. You see what I mean? So even though I am not from a medical field, but at least I understand policy from a medical I understand health delivery through a policy lens.
See, you see what you are saying? That is where you have a system. That is where this thing is going to happen. Let's go back to during the time of Obasanjo's tenure. They brought in a professor pediatrician, Adenike Grinch. I will never forget that woman's name, to come and become Minister of Health, to see to the health system, a professor of pediatrician. Do you know what this woman did? Everybody was so happy. In Obasanjo time, he went about looking for technocrats to come and revive the economy after the long military government we've had in Nigeria. Everybody was so happy. Oh, we have a professor pediatrician. That means this lady understands health. She's going to put things in place with the board and everything. At the end of the day, that woman did not last a year. What happened? She stole more than a cat.
Okay, sis, let me explain.
Let me finish. She stole more than a cat, and she was asked to leave before they brought in another person. I understand what you are saying.
Okay,
Look at the
see, the
Nigerian
point,
context.
hold on, let me
I
try and
understand what you are
highlight.
saying. If things
Hold
are
on,
working in
just
the normal way.
sis, just hold on and hear me out. You see, in a normal scenario, you don't need to go and bring anybody from outside. Because in the Ministry of Health, you have technocrats there. People who are in the Ministry of Health, they have their designated roles and they have their years of experience. Okay, what we are seeing is what I can see in the Nigerian system, because I was part of those who designed their BA project in those states then. Okay, I was from abroad and I was called in to come and help with their BA project. And one thing I learned very, very quickly is this: when we're doing their BA project, like I said, we designed it. I sat here, I was in NHS at the time. When we're designing the project, I have no clue. I've not been in Nigeria for years. We designed a project. In short, the project was not even, I can't even remember what the name. If I go through my emails now, see the original name we had. We were so detached because they will keep, because the Nigerian government brings a square peg and puts it in a round hole. I went to,
You see what you
hold
see?
on now, just hold on. I went, so when we designed the project, right? The way we designed it, I used the NHS lens to design a project in Nigeria. But what you then find out is when we go to Nigeria, so there's something you call project testing, where you have to go and test out before you even roll out the project. You need to test it out with the stakeholders. Okay, when we go to the stakeholders, which is your health professionals, both in local, both in state, local, and the villages. What we learned very quickly is what we brought from abroad did not fit the Ondo State system. And that name, Abiye, it came from the people because that was what they recognized. In short, as a matter of fact, I didn't even know. When you talk about Abiye, to me, Abiye is all those women that used to give, what do they call them? Iya Abiye. They call them Iya Abiye. That's what I can't remember what. But I didn't know.
Traditional midwives.
I didn't know that.
Traditional midwives.
Yes, but I didn't know that there was more to them than just calling them traditional midwives. I didn't understand the depth of their knowledge and the depth of their involvement in healthcare. And that was why, because we took all of that on board. Do you know what they did when we did their BA projects in Ondo State? Do you know what they did? When we got to Ondo State, the health staff, the technocrats in Ondo State that knew their terrain, they did not allow them to take part in the project design. It was me who live in Scotland that have no business in Ondo State. We were the one that designed the project in Sheraton in Edinburgh here. Okay? So it's a square peg in a round hole. We had to fight. I had to fight and say, no, how can I be designing a project when I have no clue? I've never lived in Ondo State to know how Ondo State works. You understand? So we now have to rewrite the whole thing to make it work. And that's why the Abiye project succeeded. Because the people who live there, the people who work there, they are the one, they know the ins and outs of their states. I live in Scotland. I have no clue how it works. You understand? It's just like the NHS. If you want to do the NHS here, you don't go and bring somebody from Nigeria to come and design NHS, to come and revamp NHS. It doesn't work.
It will work because you see that's where we are looking at the problem in Nigeria. Like putting a square peg in a round hole. Then the problem of continuity is also a big problem. If you look Delta State where I lived, during the time of Uduaga, he was a medical doctor. When Uduaga came, he overhauled the child primary health care and the what they call delivery till the child is 5. That was what Uduaga did.
Yes, indigenous people. Sorry, yes, I'm responding to somebody. Yes, because you see, sorry, caller, just give me 1 minute. You see, you cannot ignore the voice of the indigenous people and the contribution. And this is where it becomes very important. And that's one of the reasons why this is one of the reasons why the SDG, like the Abiye project was an MDG, Millennium Development Goal project. Now, I have a colleague who reached out to me recently. He wants me to come in and help with a particular project in Nigeria. But when I was listening to them talk about the project, I've not lived in Nigeria for almost 3 decades now, and they are wanting my contribution. But let's be honest, how can I contribute to a system where I have not lived? I have not lived and worked in that system.
Ask me.
You understand? So it's a case of what I see in Nigeria, and that's why I resent this whole Abikedabiri kind of scenario where they are telling diasporans, oh, you diasporans come to Nigeria. Yes, it's good for diasporans to come, but we shouldn't come wanting to dominate the Nigerian system, because the people who work in Nigeria, they understand their terrain. They know what the root issues are. Look at this girl that they've just made a senior advisor to a special advisor to the minister, to Nigerian president on health, Adana David. Now, Adana David went to Nigeria. She's there creating a project, but the reality is she doesn't even live in she doesn't live in Nigeria. She lives in London. She lives in London. She interacts with the system in the UK. Her healthcare and everything is all based in the UK. So how can you come and revamp a system where you do not live or interact with? And that's the same thing we are having in education. The same thing we are having in all areas. And look at even the government that we have, the politicians. The politicians do not, their children are not interacting with the system. They themselves do not interact with the system. So the question is, how can they make a difference to your country? I was speaking to Showore when he wanted to contest in 2015 or whatever year he wanted to contest then. We had a conversation. I said, Showore, your family live in America. They don't just live in America, they interact with the American system. Your own medical doctor lives and interacts with you from America. So if you want to become a president of Nigeria, whatever role you want to be as a politician, how can you be a politician in Nigeria when you do not directly interact with the system? And when you now talk about the medical system, the doctors, they are underpaid. Nurses are underpaid. Look at the role. I mean, medical system in Nigeria is overwhelmed. I cannot overemphasize it, because through their BA project, I saw it firsthand. The kind of things that the doctors are doing in Nigeria, no doctor will agree to do that here in the UK. No doctor will agree to it. Not even nurses will agree.
It's worse in Nigeria. It's so worse, it's so bad. The continuity of any project you will do.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
You see, we can't keep putting square pegs. Look at Ajumobi's late daughter that passed away. She lives in Nigeria. She was living in London. She partly lived in London and partly lived in America. Yet she was a special advisor on budget. How can you be a special advisor on budget in a country where you don't interact? No, that's not what I'm saying, Miss Bello. See, that's the point I'm making is we can't keep putting square pegs in a round hole. And that's why I gave their BA project, where we designed their BA program. When I say we, myself and the people who were here in the United Kingdom, most of us who start to do that project, we were all here in United Kingdom. It just so happened that one of our friend, happens to be close to the governor. You know, the Nigerian factor. Me, I didn't even know that initially. I was quite happy, to contribute and stuff, because at that time the NHS here in Scotland, we were having a revamp. So, and I saw the way we did our primary health care. As a matter of fact, I can say this boldly. As a matter of fact, the healthcare system, our healthcare system in the UK is a prototype. We actually had a prototype. We actually had a copy. We had to copy the Nigerian healthcare system. The Nigerian primary healthcare system is what we use here in NHS. That one I can say it confidently. But the problem is, when we designed that project, I remember very well, we were using the UK system to design a Nigerian system. When we got to Nigeria, one of the first hurdles we encountered was I didn't realize that the Nigerian system had 3 stages. When they say budget, they have the federal, the state, and the local government. Okay, so I didn't understand how all of that. We just did it in a generic way. Only for us to get there, we now realize that for you to even create a project in a state, there is a process you have to go through. Particularly when you are not even going through, when you want to do a revamp on health, you have to go through all the 3 stages. And of course, by the time we now looked at how the healthcare system, there is hospitals in Nigeria, in Ondo State now. There's a lot of private hospital. There is international NGOs that build their primary health care. They build orishirishi there. But the truth is, the women were not using it. We went to the interiors of Ondo State. They were building hospitals. All the hospitals they built, they put picture of Oyibo that is there with children. How can Iya Musura will she relate with that kind of picture? Meanwhile, they are BAs. The women, they are BA women. I don't know. Yeah, they are BAs. What you find out is they are BAs. They knew these women. They knew these pregnant women. They didn't just know them. They know their moms. Remember when I started my show, I was talking about the importance of your health history. They are BA women. They were not just people who knew these pregnant women. They knew their mothers. They knew their grandmothers. They were known and trusted within their community. They knew that, this particular girl, she get belle, in their family, iya mani abisinwi, which is what we call a postnatal depression. They knew the health history beyond. As a matter of fact, you know that the medical staffs do not even know the health history of the patient they were treating. But those are BAs, they knew, because apart from the fact that they were BAs, some of them were alaga igbeyawo. Like a master, is it master of ceremony they call them now? So all I'm saying is you cannot put a square peg in a round hole. And this whole thing of let's go and bring people from diaspora. Yes, it's good to go and bring people from diaspora, but we should not be those of us on diaspora should not come to Nigeria and be telling the staffs, the professionals in Nigeria, this is how we want them to do their job. We should work side by side with them. And that's what you have seen with international NGOs. Where international NGOs, you remember in the past, when international NGOs come, they will be the one, the staff from abroad will be the one dominating. But with the SDG, what they learned to do was, they learned to work side by side with the indigenous knowledge. I can't come. Yes, I'm a Nigerian. My parents are Nigerians, but I can't turn up in Nigeria today and say, this is how they do it in NHS. People will be looking at me as if something is wrong with my brain. For instance, again, we come back to the case of healthcare. The ministers, they are having all these billions and trillions in budget. What are they doing with it? Why are they always doing seminar in Abuja, in Sheraton? They are doing seminar in Radisson Blue. Why can't we have emergencies? Why can't we have ambulances? Why can't we have responsive systems? We can't keep putting square peg in a round hole and be giving excuses. Let's even be honest. Okonja Iweala that they went to go and bring from what's the name? That they went to go and bring from America. They didn't need to bring Okonja Iweala, in fairness. I've got a lot of respect for her. But they didn't need to bring Okonja Iweala to come and become a health minister, finance, whatever they brought her for. I'm very sure there are people within the Ministry of Finance who can deliver Okonja Iweala's role perfectly well. I am very, very sure about that. And again, I will come back to that Abiye project. The Abiye project, the only reason why the Abiye project succeeded and won the award and got recommendation from World Health Organization was because those of us who were coming from abroad, the so-called diasporans, we were forced to work with the indigenous professionals. We had no choice than to work side by side because the indigenous professionals, they know their terrain more than us who are coming from abroad. For us who are coming from abroad, all it is to us is putting it on our CV. Okonjo-Iweala, yes, she was a minister of finance, blah blah blah. She put it on her CV. That's all it is to her. This other guy in African Bank, I mean, what's the name of this thing? His own too, additional. Share is additional about this one here. It's all about his CV. But we have people indigenously who can make a difference. Am I saying that diaspora should not be welcome? That's not what I'm saying. But we should not be coming from diaspora. We shouldn't be coming from diaspora and then wanting to come and be side by side and wanting to come and dominate. You understand? That's the point I'm making. Look at the minister of health. You don't, like I said, you don't have to have a health background to be a minister, to be a political minister. You don't have to have a health background. But the point here is, even as a minister, even here in United Kingdom, you have to work with the technocrats. And that's why you've said that the ministers, the politicians, they cannot do anything without working closely with civil servants. They have no choice. Exactly, N-Town. It's all about partnership. That BA project, one day I go get time where I go sit down just now with my eyes see. If you see what we were doing, we came there. In short, I remember the first time I went to go and test out our project. Come and see the way we're speaking English. Now so they look us. Now one of the Kale King, the man look us as in Kini Kile and we. That was when we knew we were in trouble. Because we had a very wonderful, in short, the project we designed, we had to throw it in the bin and start all over again. Because what we designed originally was not fit for purpose. And that's what happens when you don't work with indigenous knowledge. Yes, the Abiye project, people are saying I was just seeing somebody who reached out to me. They are trying to set up something, they're trying to roll out something across Nigeria. And the person reached out to me and we're having a conversation about it. And I said, this, that, you know, we're talking, and I was referring back to her, and she was laughing. Because we're talking about, we worked together on the Abiye project, and I said, remember, this is what happened, this, that. You don't have to know about health to be a health minister. You don't have to be an educationalist. And this is where we are getting it wrong in the Nigerian context. With a technocrat, you can do what you have to do, in a very successful way. Nicholas Roger does not have any health background now. Apart from my younger sister being a nurse, she does not have any health background. But yet, she was able to take NHS. She was able to take NHS Scotland through the 60 years, and we rolled out 5 a day. Scotland pioneered the 5 a day. We pioneered the alcohol minimum pricing and the alcohol measurements. In short, as I'm trying to pack things in my house, I still saw the stuff that we used. Nicholas, I can say it boldly. Nicholas Sturgeon does not have any medical background. Even me that I'm talking to you, I had no medical background. Yes, I went and did sexual reproductive health. I did masters in sexual reproductive health, but I'm not medically trained. I did it purely from the angle of policy. That's all I did. That's what I know. I talk purely from the angle of policies and implementations. And that's why sometimes when they are talking about some medical, when you are discussing medical, you know, when we are having a medical discussion on medical, I can talk about it, not because I'm a medical person. You know, it's not because I have no medical trained background in any shape or form. I can tell you boldly about HIV, hepatitis, the hepatitis, contraceptive, all this stuff. I can talk about it, but I'm not talking about it from the angle of treatment because I'm not trained to do that. Even from the angle of social work, yes, I can talk about what I need to talk about, child development and everything. But when it comes to psychology, I'm not a psychologist. I have no training on that. Apart from my normal professional understanding, I have no training. But rightly so, I don't even need to have that training. And this is where we are getting it wrong. Like that Adana David now, for instance, her father was a former governor of Imo State. Now they have put her there. And that's what your politicians are doing. They are putting their kids. Look at Ajumobi's late daughter. She was a special advisor on budget. Yet she doesn't live in Nigeria. I remember when the husband was giving tribute, when her friends and husband were giving tribute, they were saying she will stop in Paris. She knew where they were selling Birkin. How she not go know where they sell Birkin? How she not go know where they sell Birkin bag? Look at Wike. Wike too is parading his children. Omo Oshagba for Nkashawale. Look at Adana David. What training does she have? She studied medicine. She never practiced medicine for one day. That I can say confidently because she's a YouTuber. She never practiced medicine for one single day like this. The only time she practiced medicine was when she was doing her housemanship. And that is not even a practice. Because it's mandatory that you do housemanship. So she did that. And then the next thing she said, she opened she went off medicine. She could not go back to work because she said somebody was being racist. I've been a wanting story. So she didn't practice. That one passed. As if that was not enough. Then she now woke up one morning. She started going for Melinda, of course, with the YouTube, because she was a YouTuber. She's still a YouTuber, I'm guessing. So being a YouTuber, she was going to all these Melinda Gates, Billy Gates, SDG meetings, and all these tons. That's all it is. Apart from medicine that she read at school, she never practiced medicine. I can say that confidently. And of course, it's not even a hidden information. Go on her YouTube page. She has a YouTube. Except she has deleted it. Go on her YouTube page. It's there. Adana David is there. She never practiced for one day because by the time she was pregnant, in between while she was doing her housemanship, she was pregnant and she never returned back to work. She didn't return back to work after her first pregnancy. And when you do your residency, it's not, when you do your housemanship, it's not a guaranteed employment. You have to apply. So she was going for all this Bill Gates meeting, SDG. Adeola Fayen was there doing PR for her. Before we said Jack Robinson. And in short, I think there was a time, I think during the COVID, I remember talking about it and I was like, this girl, she set up a NGO, I've been waiting, she said she do, that she was getting people to go. She was getting a medical student to go to Kenya. I think she did it for like a year. In short, I don't even think she even did up to a year. Exactly. Thank you, Queen Esther. So she went. I remember she arranged for people to go to Kenya. They went to Kenya. She went with them. She went to Kenya with the people that she carried together. And I think she was trying to do it in Nigeria, but I don't know whatever happened. So that only lasted for just a year. And now, gradually she started going for all this millennium development sustainable development goal. Thank you, Queen Esther, because tá bá ń sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí wọ́n ní tí o bá ń parọ́ ló máa sọ pé ẹlẹ́rìí ń wà lọ́rùn. She's fully on YouTube. Go there and watch it. When she started going for this SDG menene, and as if I knew, I was even saying, I said, Omo yìí wọ́n ti imposition eh. Simba, try and listen to what I'm saying. I don't know. Look, I don't want to be distracted. Try and make sense of what I'm saying. I am not saying people can practice what they have not. I'm not saying that they can practice something that they have no knowledge on. What I'm saying is, as a minister, you don't necessarily need to be. You don't need to be a minister. You don't need to be a medical professional for you to be a minister of health. You have technocrats. You are working within a structure, isn't it? I worked in NHS. I have no medical trained background. So like I was saying with Adana David, the girl, next thing she started attending, she was going to America, traveling around, Kinikon. Before you know wetin dey happen, next thing wey we see am say she don essay, she has started her own NGO. Na here we go dey, washer dryer ló ń jẹ́. Her father is not rich, Queen Esther. Her father was a governor. Her father was a former governor of Imo State. Owó Imo State no fi rán gbogbo wọn lọ sí school. Na Imo State money they use to send all of them go school. The father is not rich. The father is a governor, and of course anybody can become a governor in Nigeria. Once you don't be, all you need to do is aspire to Miguaya. The father became a governor until the man go kpai to him great grandchildren, to his unknown children. Na this thing, na Imo State, that's the thing with all your governors. Once they become governor, it's only in Nigeria that you will serve in a system for 8 years. I mean, 4 years, and you have a guaranteed pension for you and your entire family. The house the father is staying in Abuja won't build there for ni. Every 4 years, na Imo State they change the papa car. Can't you see that when she travels abroad, even her husband, when they travel, they get them convoy, they get them all of that, at the detriment of Imo State. Go to Imo State. How developed is Imo State? How developed is Imo State? Now they have made her a special advisor on health. She's coming all the way from UK, someone that never practiced for one day. She's now coming to UK, coming to Nigeria now. We are talking about the health of girl child and children. What does she understand? What does she know she's talking about? Where is her wealth of experience? From being a YouTuber? She's talking about health. She's talking about the health and welfare of girl child. And yet, if anything do her, now abroad, she gets treated here. Her families are based in London. So she doesn't even have interaction with the same system that she's trying to create a solution for. Yes, Queen Esther, go on her page. She never practiced medicine for one day. The only time she was seen practicing was when she was doing her housemanship. And that's a requirement for her to be qualified as a doctor. Now she's the one. Go and look at, I think her page is called I think it's the new, I mean a renew or whatever it is. Go and look at it there on her page. Now she has launched an NGO. She's walking around with wives of governors. Of course, her father was a former governor now, so there's that open door for her. She has now come to Nigeria. She lives in London, creating solution to Nigerian problem that she doesn't interact with. And this is what we are saying. This is exactly what we are saying, that look, we keep putting square peg in round holes. Look at this lady, ordinary CPR lasan would have saved her. And all the so-called project that Ministry of Health is doing is always based in Abuja. If they're not doing it in Abuja, they will do it in Sheraton, Nikon, all the big hotels. The one they do in London, they will go to Radisson Blu to go and do it in Lagos. Ṣé Radisson Blu làwọn patient wà ní? They will not gather some. They will go and get. I heard they pay people to come together. Why not invest in healthcare? Look at the doctors in Nigeria. How much are they paying them? I have a friend who is in the process of setting up a hospital in Nigeria, setting up a big hospital in Nigeria. If you see the criteria, it doesn't cost. There's no standard criteria to setting up a medical center in Nigeria. There's no standard criteria. Then my friend is a Nigerian, no, a Nigerian who has lived here, who have worked in the NHS. He was shocked to know that all that it takes to set up a hospital in Nigeria is bare minimum. It's just go and try it. It's bare minimum. That's all you need to do. Bupa, go ask Bupa wetin the eye dey see. Ordinary inspection, go and ask Bupa wetin the eye dey see. Or not field, go and ask them what their eye see. Ordinary medical inspection. And in Nigeria, with bare minimum, there's not even monitoring. You set up your hospital, business don't enter, you don't begin to do what you want to do. My friend was telling me, said you don't even need a trained nurse. He said when you want that, they will ask you, do you want to? He said when he was trying to recruit trained nurses, that some of his friends who already have businesses, who already have hospitals, were telling him, why are you having a trained nurse? You can train your own nurse. You can get auxiliary nurse and train them. Can you imagine? Then my friend is like a fish out of water. Only he said sometimes he will look and say, no wonder. Standard emergency room alone. Ade you dey go back again. Standard emergency room láti bo síbo ńbo ló wà. I said that my friend he don run come back come UK. He say if UK system link am to this kind thing, they go collect a license. It doesn't cost you much to set up hospital in Nigeria, trust me. That my friend could not believe what he was saying. Nigeria, urban crime scene in Nigeria. Anyway, I hope our minister, I hope our government, I hope they are learning. And you see, now we are getting ready for election now. I've been at selection, whatever it is that we are getting ready for now. We are still not asking questions, no. We are not asking, we are not demanding. We are not demanding for accountability. This lady yes, nobody is saying it's possible she might have survived. It's possible she might have died eventually. But at least, what stops us from training, from rolling out training? What stops us? Look at it, 30 solid minutes. Imagine if they are called paramedics. Now selection in Nigeria. Now selection we get for Nigeria now. What stops us from getting paramedics? Why can't we invest in emergency health care? Nigeria can afford. Look at the amount of money that your politicians are stealing every day. If they take that kind of money for UK, wallahi, UK economy go collapse. You just hear somebody carry. Look, see Yaya Bello. We think na 8 billion. Then they say now they don't say now almost 10 billion. And they will be calling the money. You go the one that say, hey, inside this Nigeria economy, your politicians are just looting you dry. You're not asking questions. Selection that they come now. Shebi you see MC Oluomo, whether one day they do anyway, oríṣiríṣi ló wà in Nigeria. Whether one day they read, I don't know what they read. We can do better, as Nigerians. It's not just about our politicians. Even worse, we need to start demanding a better leadership. Enough is enough. We need to start demanding a better leadership. And the truth is, yes, Chimamanda Adichie, she go sue those people. Yes, of course, those ones, as an Igbo, they go pay for damages. But until the right structure is in place, we are in for it. We will continue to have the same problem over and over and over again. You heard that caller when that caller called in. She was giving us different examples. Because there's lack of structures. Examples like that will continue to happen. Look at this lady now. Okugbe. I mean, the Kidon Porukwe, the neighbor said that at least when she got to the hospital, they responded and everything. But maybe it was preventable. What if we had an emergency system? What if the paramedics stepped in longer before? I'm not saying money will bring back her son. What I'm saying is, yes, eventually they will do a Kidon Porukwe. Eventually they will compensate and everything. Of course, it's not going to bring back her son. But we need to start requesting, we need to start demanding. And you see, the problem is, like I said, your politicians, your leaders, they are not engaging with the system in which they work. All your governors, how many of all your governors, which one of them are their kids interacting in the system? It's only in Nigeria that the children, well, not just Nigeria, but we are talking in the context of Nigeria now. It's in Nigeria that children of politicians will be graduating abroad, and our media and the media will be celebrating it. Me, I feel like me Igbori. The media will be celebrating. You see blogs posting the son of the daughter of this person just graduated. Can you imagine how bad that is? Their kids are not interacting in the system. I was watching a lady on a shey Arise Motiri lady no. Shey is it Arise I've been at TVC. One presenter. Now I know she used to dey talk. Yeah. I can't dey wonder whether na Western news that they listen to. Hello, the name of the president was praying. Hey, my name is Kinika from TVC. I say, hey, you know Nigeria. How in Yamosuna wey dey market? How she want take hear wetin you dey talk for news? When you don't use all your nose, they talk finish. When we were young, we had the likes of Tokumbo Ajayi, Sienna Owe Brown, Ruth Benemisia Opia, name them. When they speak, anybody can relate to what they are saying. Your government are not engaging. Your politicians get in there. The moment they come in, all they are doing, they are looting to get their kids to go and school abroad. Healthcare, they are not engaging. Medical education, they are not engaging. Their kids are busy flying around in private jets. Yeah, I get it. I totally understand it, Queen Esther. Look at it now. Their kids are flying in private jets. They are getting ready for selection now. Go and listen to their children. What school did they go to? They came to London to school. They either school in the UK, or they school in America, or they school in Switzerland. Shebi, in which one now? Which one now? Dangote and they fight. Where Dangote say all in children, they dey Switzerland, they dey school, and those are the kids that will come back to come and rule you. They will come back to Nigeria to come and rule you. Go there, spray. They are creating solution for a system they don't work in. All of them, Minister of Education now, ask Minister of Education. Shebi, yesterday, a school, I posted a video yesterday. A school in Ikorodu, the secondary school, in short, now they are for see that TVC guy. I've been at TVC, I've been at Arise, I don't even know. When she say, my name is, I don't even know what she call herself, because I know she used to speak. Now she say, high school in Nigeria and high school in Ikorodu has just collapsed. The name of the school is called Odukekere. I say, hey, a Nigerian, you dey speak Nigerian news. They do Odukekere. Hey, not even we don't go see for Nigerian system. No be Nigeria, cause in kota aniri. Anyway, now wetin I see Now say make I come gist I don't know, I might come back later in the evening. But we have to do better. As a country, we need to demand. As a country, we need to start demanding for a better Nigeria. Christy, you dey laugh me. Na true. He say, I don't know what the girl call herself. He say, my spring. And there's an ice cream that collapsed in Nigeria. Ice cream. Not. He bless na TV say been arise. He say, there's an ice cream that collapsed in the Ikorodu. I say, I can't wonder. Ikorodu. Where Ikorodu dey for Nigeria? And I say, Ikorodu. Then they call Ikorodu. Whenever spray, Ikorodu. The name of the school is called Odukekere. I say he. Oríṣiríṣi lójú títì Odukekere. Now they call say we pass you on to my correspondent. I say ha. Ìyá Basira, but that's a few tó ń tẹ ọlọ́jà. Báwo lè gbọ́ nǹkan tí bèbí ń sọ? We are so focused on the wrong things. We are focused on kurukere. I get him money o. Na so no wonder pastor come. He say God follow and talk for why he dey listen to kurukere. We dey there. We just dey listen. Wetin dey worry us even from wetin we no even know wetin we even want for ourselves. Honestly, the thing no funny. Make I see whether I go see the video. Hey, no be small something o. No be only me na hear the. No be only me go hear the thing. Make I see. Hey, Odukekere. I say ha. Hey, wala dey. Odukekere. Koju ma di bi gbogbo ara logun e. E be like say na Arise. E be like say na Arise TV. Make I see am. Odukekere. Na Odukekere. And he gets Odukekere. I say ha. Hey, wala dey Nigeria o. Na so the girl come dey Ikorodu. The girl say na Ikorodu. Now say oh my God, by you.
Public, as it shows Katsina State Government.
Na the auntie be this. Make I see. Ikorodu. Ikorodu. I say ha. Hey, even myself, I don't know what I dey hear. I dey come make I find the news. No be only me go hear am. I look and say for inside Nigeria in economy Tinubu no. Latin gbogbo aunty no lele make una hear. I fasten una seat belt o make una hear supri. Ikorodu.
Noon. As of now, we know that no student. A new video is trending on social media as it shows the moment and the aftermath that a school collapses in the middle of a lecture at Odo Kekere Primary High School in Ikorodu on Thursday.
Ṣé ti gbọ́ Odo Kekere in Ikorodu. Ṣé ti gbọ́ ṣé ń gbọ́ English wa. Àwa supri. Anybody who among you understand? Who among you fit speak supri? I don't get sister wey dey speak am. Ikorodu. I dey hear English Emike. Kima gboyibo.
Media as it shows the moment and the aftermath that a school collapses in the middle of a lecture at Odo Kekere Primary High School in Ikorodu on Thursday afternoon. As of now, we know that no student or teacher was injured or killed, thankfully, but this has brought to the surface conversations around student safety, infrastructure.
Ṣé ti gbọ́ mẹ́yìn? Ẹ ti gbọ́ fóònù ẹ wa.
Very serious consequences.
Aunty Odonu, ẹ ti gbọ́ fóònù ẹ wa. At Odo Kekere in Ikorodu. Ṣé eléyìí ni Mama Basira fẹ́ gbọ́ lóyún? Mama Basira fẹ́ gbọ́. How Mama Basira wan take know say na Ikorodu dey talk? How you wan know say na even okay, let's even say you be parent. Your pikin go school for Odo Kekere. You come dey hear news dey say Odo Kekere. How you wan take know say na wala Nigeria. How na wan take your pikin go school for Odo Kekere and you come dey hear news my school collapse in spray in Odo Kekere. How you wan take know say na Odo Kekere dey talk when they change the future of your school to Odo Kekere dey change as Odo Kekere. Like if BBC did this kind of news now we go say na BBC. arise ni o arise ni ẹ máa gbọ́ access switch ẹ máa gbọ́ I dey come make I give una gist. You know say me I sabi find trouble well.
That a school collapses in the middle of a lecture at Odo Kekere Primary High School in Ikorodu on Thursday afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
As of now, we know that no student or teacher was injured or killed, thankfully, but this has brought to the surface conversations around student safety, infrastructure. A new video is trending on social media as it shows the moment and the aftermath that a school collapses in the middle of a lecture at Odo Kekere Primary High School in Ikorodu on Thursday afternoon. As of now, we know that no student or teacher was injured or killed.
Hey Joe, you send your pikin go Odu Kekere. They can't read news. You can't say Odu Kekere. How you want take know? Say that way. Now question do. Honestly, I'm laughing, but I know it's not funny, but I'm laughing. So you send your pikin. Imagine say Iya Basira is sending pikin go Odu Kekere and the school can't collapse. They can't say Iya Basira wọ́n máa ń sọ ọkọ ní news ẹ wá lọ gbọ́ nǹkan tó ń sọ. You can't hear spray.
Was injured or killed. A new video is trending on social media as it shows the moment and the aftermath that a school collapses in the middle of a lecture at Odo Kekere Primary High School.
Shengbo, that is school collapse at Odo Kekere High School. Ejo, I am Iya Basira won't take notes now Odo Kekere dey talk. Now question. In those days when Ruth Benamisi Opia dey talk, we dey hear. Senator Brand they talk with they hear. Ruth Benamizia what are their name? Eugenia Abugogo when they talk, Sinistova. When they speak, read news with they hear. Iya Basira they hear what they talk. Awele, he says killers collapse in Odu Kekere. How won't take notes now Odu Kekere she they talk? Make una come hear the access switch. Hear correspondent. Hear the difference between correspondent at Mrs. Odu Kekere.
School collapses in the middle of a lecture. A new video is trending on social media as it shows the moment and the aftermath that a school collapses in the middle of a lecture at Odo Kekere Primary High School in Ikorodu on Thursday afternoon. As of now, we know that no student or teacher was injured or killed, thankfully, but this has brought to the surface conversations around student safety, infrastructure, and the fact that this could have had very serious consequences. Let's take a look.
In Odo Kekere community, a building collapsed in the
Shego from Odo Kekere, we come here in Odo Kekere community. Iya Basira, if Iya Basira put on television and she dey hear scales collapsed in Odo Kekere, how Iya Basira what take it do? Iya Basira go get time to sit down dey listen to Odo Kekere. Yeba ká máa ṣe gbádùn oyin mọ́mọ́ wonderful. Àwọn newscaster wa nìyẹn ṣe rí pé confused.com di bá wa Nàìjíríà. If they dey speak, if Scottish if they read BBC, they read news for BBC, BBC Scotland, STV Scotland, we go know them by their accent. This one now, accent of wetin I be this aunty Odo Kekere. Tell me, abeg, may nobody hold me o. I wan go, me sef I wan go find job for Nigeria. I wan go dey speak. Hello, all right, May, you right? My name is Apraucow. In short, I don't change my accent for today. You're welcome to my channel. My name is Apraucow. And I'm here to present you today's news, and it's all about what's a cow? We got to go phone. We got to go phone. I won't follow this and talk where I no go hear phone.
a building collapsed.
And a building collapse. And
community.
Whoa, you don't understand.
The video is trending on social media as it shows the moment and the aftermath that a school collapses in the middle of a lecture at Odo Kekere Primary High School in Ikorodu on Thursday.
ṣé ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. ṣé ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Odu Kekere High School. Wàhálà dé. Wàhálà, we are in trouble in Nigeria. Even Kemi Adeosun, our former finance minister, when she dey talk, we dey wonder say kini ń wí. Is my name is Kemi Adeosun. Okonja Wala wey don stay America dada. When she want to talk, she dey talk, we dey hear wetin she dey talk. My name is Okonja Wala. She dey talk am we dey hear. Do Kekere. Okonja Wala don stay America tire. She has stayed in America. She's well exposed. When she dey talk, we dey hear the English wey she dey talk. When you hear her talk, in short, even address everything, you know say na eléyìí Nigeria rere lele. You go hear her, she dey dance chop my money. You go chop my money, I don't care. She dey dance am. When she wan talk, you go hear am. My name is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She dey talk am with her correct Igbo accent. Okonjo-Iweala she go talk with her correct Igbo accent. My name is Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. Dora Kweli, when she talk, we dey hear wetin she dey talk. E reach Kemi Adeosun's time. Now she come. My name is Kemi Adeosun. Ogina Fugo. For where and where. And una come dey wonder why she no fit do finance minister. Why she go do am well? When she dey use phone, they look about our national budget. Ngozi wey use our English, she use the English wey she understand take look about Nigerian budget. Difference is clear. 7 up longebe. Anyway, e don cast last na everybody go chop breakfast na Nigeria level. No worry, we dey hear Odu Kekere, scholars collapsed in Odu Kekere, in Odu Kekere. How Iya Basira wan take know now? Say her pikin dey Odu Kekere now we wan take know. How Iya Basira wan take know? How Iya Basira, how she wan take know? Say something dey happen for Odu Kekere. Say na Odu Kekere bí báwo? Níbo ló ń jẹ́ Odu Kekere in Nigeria? And this na the thing wey dey confuse everybody. And I go come, make I find out Adana David. Make I hold on. I no get your time. Make I find out Adana David. Tak, you no go understand. Yours dey watch movie on your own. Adana David, where the Adana David? The way she say she dey do. Na she dey call her husband David. Im husband name na David o. E reach Adana turn, call im husband David. He say na David na be im husband name. Abá sọ̀rọ̀ báyìí wọ́n á là ń sọ̀rọ̀. Tá bá sọ̀rọ̀ wọ́n á là ń sọ̀rọ̀.
I'm your host.
I dey come, I wan find out Adana David, special adviser to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on women's health. Iṣẹ́ ń gbọ́, iṣẹ́ ráyè wá lójú títì. Special adviser on women's health. I dey come, make I see. Hold on, no. I wan find that hold on, just give me 1 minute. I want to find out her company. Nigeria, we keep putting square pegs in round holes. I dey come, renew her. Na renew her na be the name of this thing. Mo ń bọ̀. Ẹ jẹ́ n kà fún yín. renew her níyàn tí kò practice medicine rí ó dẹ̀ ṣe company ó bá ṣe company ló bá ṣe NGO fún yín.
The Senior Special Assistant to the President on Women's Health. Today, I'm honored to share a historic step. I am Dr. Dana Steinaker, the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Women's Health. Today, I'm honored to share a historic step for women and girls in Nigeria. Under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and in alignment with the Renewed Hope agenda, we are proud to announce the launch of Renew Her, a bold...
So basically, na APC agenda, renew her. Ẹ lọ wo renew her yẹn, ẹ bá lọ wò ń bẹ̀. Make una go look am. Make una go look the renew her wey dey there. They say they do women health. They do women health. On the women health level, wetin she sabi wey she know wey she dey do women. Ẹ wo ìyàwó David ni àìkè ṣe David o David ló ń pọkọ ẹ̀ and her name is David, his name is David, David ló ń jẹ́ David. They come dey form ẹ wo make una just dey look na renew hope shebi dey say na renew àwa ló kàn o àbí no be àwa ló kàn na una president don talk say na him turn he no cool campaign he say it's my turn in campaign na it is my turn. Anyway, make we dey go. Exactly. Elizabeth, where you dey since morning? I don talk with where you dey since morning when I dey talk wetin I dey talk. E go say na David. E get one time wey she do Black Lives Matter, she do that one no pay am. Ẹ wo ẹ ṣá ìyẹn ṣá máa wo fíìmù lójú títì. Na here we go dey we go watch all their movie. Anyway, make we dey go. I fit come back later in the day. Make I go rest small. I go come back later in the day. Thank you all. But in fairness, we need to stop putting square pegs in round holes. And I think in Nigeria, we shouldn't wait until Nigeria happens to us. See Anthony Joshua now. Nigeria don't happen to am now. Here e don clear. No, it's okay. You can always go and watch from the beginning. Nigeria don't happen to Anthony Joshua now. Here e don clear. The twin sister and all those kids na privilege. Anyway, thanks everybody, and I will see you all later in the day. I probably will come back later in the day, okay? See you all later. Bye.